All right, that takes us to the featherweight main event now, as we have veteran Arnold Allen coming in at minus 180. He goes up against the streaking Melquizael Costa, who comes in at plus 155. I'll start off on the Allen side of things, who is coming off of a decision loss to Gene Silva from earlier this year. That was a fight where it was kind of competitive, but I thought it was clear that Silva was the one landing a little bit more effective damage, and that ultimately cost Allen the decision win. That was on the back end of a big decision win for Allen over Giga Chikadze, a fight where Allen did start slow, but really picked it up in the second and third rounds as he started to really keep Chikadze a little bit more stagnant, was able to land his big shots and really hurt Chikadze. And that's where Allen is usually doing his best work. I've kind of given him flack in the past for not being active enough with his striking, not throwing enough output. But it seems like when he throws his output, he tries to throw so much power in those shots that when he does land and he actually goes, it actually counts for something and nullifies the volume that his opponent might try to throw in return. He doesn't have many finishes in his UFC career. I believe I have it here. He only has 2 finishes by knockout in the UFC. One of them was a mauling of a severely depleted and compromised Dan Hooker. That was when Hooker tried going back to 145 and really looked like death trying to make it. And then the other one was that a knee injury that Calvin Kattar suffered in the main. I believe that was a main event where Kattar ended up injuring his knee. So those were the only wins by knockout for Arnold Allen in the UFC through 14 UFC fights. And he's only recorded 3 knockdowns as well. So again, it's kind of surprising considering how much power it looks like he throws with, and considering what his stylistic approach normally is in a lot of these matchups. It's usually centered around the striking. So, in recent fights, obviously he was undefeated going into that main event that he had against Max Holloway, but now he finds himself 1-3 over his last 4 fights. But he's definitely better than that. And you got to give some credence to the level of competition he was coming up short against, right? Max Holloway, one of the best featherweights to ever do it. Evloev, probably fighting for a title as in the near future. And then John Silva, who can really be a wild card, but that was a fight against Allen where I thought just his power and his volume would end up being the difference maker, and it ended up being the case there. So this weekend, he goes up against a streaking Brazilian. We got Melquizael Costa, who comes into his first ever UFC main event after putting together a 6-fight winning streak with 4 of those wins coming by finish. I don't think any were sweeter than his last one over Dan Ige, which was the first knockout loss for Dan Ige, which is crazy, right? Dan Ige has been kind of the poster child of what it looks like to have insane durability and insane heart. But Costa was able to land a beautifully timed spinning back kick. Now, the spinning back kick was actually intended for the body of Ige, but Ige kind of crouched into it and it hit him on the cheek and it just absolutely wobbled him. Costa followed it up with some big shots after that and then ended up getting the finish there. So very impressive finish there from Costa. He's gone from being a middling featherweight to a guy that's gotten to this point of headlining an Apex fight night. Whether it's his aggressive submission game or his much improved striking game, where he's gone out there and knocked out Morgan Sherrier and Dan Ige. I believe he knocked out Shailan Nurdenbeka as well. Good Muay Thai, good kicks, good timing, stinging power, aggressive jiu-jitsu game as well. But I wonder what his ceiling will be, especially when he goes up against guys that can actually eat his damage, right? Christian Rodriguez, I thought, took a very poor approach. I thought if he just stuck with the striking game a little bit more, he would have been more effective with it. Because when he did, he was landing on Costa, but for some reason, he seemed very intent on trying to take that fight to the ground, and Costa defended well enough while landing enough damage in return to really cause Rodriguez issues there. The Julian Erosa fight, kind of close, but I thought Costa did more effective work there to end up getting the win. And then again, when you finish guys as quickly as you finish Sherrier and Ige, the hype and the love on a fighter skyrockets, just as we're seeing for Costa. Now here against Arnold Allen, you got Allen minus 180. I believe he's the better overall fighter. I think his striking will be good enough to find the holes in Costa's game. I think if he chooses to grapple, he can stay safe enough in the grappling realm to not get submitted. He obviously has much higher level of experience, much tougher strength of schedule. But on the other end with Costa, more aggressive, throws more volume, will be looking to land those big shots to potentially put Allen out, and has all the confidence in the world with this six fight winning streak that he's on. I find myself leaning with the veteran, though. I find myself leaning with Allen. I just feel like his experience, he might look to tie up Costa a few times, push him against the cage, land some dirty boxing, land some knees, look for takedowns, and then in the striking round, look to exploit the violent striking style of Costa, trying to land some big combinations in return. But I've never been a guy that's been all that high on Allen. I just know that he has the meat and potato style to potentially cause Costa some issues here, and especially with this fight potentially going 5 rounds, I think that favors Allen as well. With that said, I wouldn't trust him at minus 180 personally. I know a lot of other people that have more confidence in Allen will probably see this spot as a steal to get Allen at minus 180 against a guy that's been streaking. But I can't do it. I can't get on either side here. I think this goes to the scorecards. I think we see Allen end up edging this one out. I'd maybe take the over more than anything, but even that, not a whole lot of confidence there. I think Allen just outworks Costa, puts on a veteran performance, wins this fight on the scorecards, but I'm not uberly confident in it. So once again, final prediction, we're going to go Arnold Allen by decision.